Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about how to manage color palettes in Clip Studio Paint. This version that we're looking at is version 1.9.7. A color palette in Clip Studio Paint is actually called a color set, and when you bring that up you can see a drop-down menu that has a number of default palettes that they have set up already. The default color set, an additional color set, and you can see that they have all of these different colors here. Light grayish, all these different colors. Now the first thing that you want to be aware of is the menu over in the upper left, right next to the color set, and here you can do a number of things. One of the things to start with is the view. You can change the size of the little icons for picking the colors. So I'm going to just set it to large for right now. Hopefully it's easy to see. So we'll come back to that menu in a second, but right now we're going to look at this wrench, and that's where you can edit color sets. So as I click on that wrench, the first thing that you'll see is this dialog comes up, and you can see all of those color sets. So that's another way that you can pick them, just by selecting color set and clicking on OK. But these other ones are what we want to manage color sets as a whole. So when it says add new settings, what that actually means is create a new color set. You can add a default color set, which just copies this one. You can duplicate one, so if you have one selected, you can duplicate that color set to start off with. And you can delete a color set and change its name. So let's start off by adding a new color set. And I'm just going to leave it as new color set and select OK. And now it has selected the color set, and you notice that it has all of these empty icons here. Now you next want to know how I can fill in these little squares with the colors that I want to choose. You may think that I can click on the eyedropper tool and select a color, but if you'll notice, it's filling the color history, but it's not filling in here. So the easiest way to fill in these colors is actually to bring up the menu and look underneath here for Auto Register Color in Eyedropper. So once I do that, I can just select one of these areas, and then if I have the eyedropper selected, I can select anywhere in my image or wherever that eyedropper will work. So I come over here and this red color of that truck, and you'll see it is placed here. And if I select another color, it will fill in. So it just automatically fills in the colors that I want. Now the next thing as you think about this, you want to look at these options here, and if you wanted to change the color order, you can do it with a control drag or a drag, and you can select which way you want. So right now I have drag selected, so if I want to change the color order, I can just drag that color to where I want it. Notice that the transparent one is also considered a color. Now once you have some colors in here, you can do some other things, like you can delete the color, replace the color, or add a color. You can find those through the menu, replace color, add color, delete color. You can also find them down here where you can replace the color, add a color, or delete a color. And you can also use the context menu, right click, replace, add, or delete a color. Now when you replace the color, it is going to replace whatever color that you have selected. So for example, I've got white selected here, so that particular color. Let's now select a different color. So I want to replace this white, and it's going to use whatever color I have selected. So here I've got the darker gray, greenish gray color, and if I right click here and say replace the color, it replaces that tile, whichever tile that I have selected. Now notice when I click on here, it's going to select whichever color I have. So I don't want to click on that one. I want to select the color that I want to use as the replacement color, and then I go to whichever tile it is, and I right click to replace. So let's turn off the auto register color and eyedropper for just a second. And let's take a look at what will happen with these icons right here. So what I'm going to do is select a particular tile. So let's say I want to replace this color here, and so that will select the tile that I want to replace. Now I'm going to replace it, let's say with this purplish color. Anything that I have as my active color will replace it when I select the replace. Now if you look at the bottom here and the number of tiles that we have, as I do a replacement, again, let's replace it with a green here, and notice that nothing will be added to the bottom. So if I go click on replace, nothing will be added to the bottom, and that color is replaced. However, if instead of doing that, let's choose this kind of blue color here, and instead of doing replace, let's do an add color. What will happen now is that we'll add that color to the palette. So notice how the blue is placed in here, so it's inserted, and it pushes all the other tiles down, so that's why we have another one. Now, if I want to delete that, I can just click on the trash can here, or I can right click and delete. So if I click on the trash can, it will delete that color, and notice that the other colors have moved up. All the tiles have moved up. So if you have a lot of tiles and you want to, you only want a few of them, you can just click somewhere in the middle and press the trash can any number of times to delete the remaining tiles. So you can play around with it some more, but that's the basics of the color set. But there's one other thing that I want to show you, and that is how you could share this color palette with someone else or with another computer. I can go in here and I select Export Color Set. I can import and register it as a material if I wish, but here I'm going to export the color set. And that allows me to place it in some directory. Here I have one set up with tools with Clip Studio color palettes, and it saves it as a CLS file, and that's all you need to do to export it, and then you can import it in a different Clip Studio program. And that's how you work with color palettes in Clip Studio Paint. I hope that helps. Have fun painting.